from many, many concerns about Germany going forward. Is it now the sick man of Europe?
It looks like it. It's this weakness in the German economy is becoming chronic. The German economy is not in a slump, so it's not going down very quickly. It's not a classical crisis, but it's stagnating. It's been stagnating for a long time, and that's what we see. What we see again in the data. And the focus of this stagnation is really manufacturing, where things are just not getting better.
So, Mr. Fuest, first of all, is there anything structural that Germany can address after the next elections?
This is clearly a structural crisis, and it has to do with the manufacturing sector in particular. There are two areas of concern: the automotive industry struggling with the transition towards electric mobility and increasing relevance of IT. And then there is the energy-intensive sector, the chemical industry, the metal industry, suffering from high energy prices and a lot of uncertainty about the future of energy supply in Germany. Germany is pursuing a very narrow energy policy, focusing entirely on renewables, and that does create a lot of uncertainty. So it's these structural issues. And then, of course, this broader question, how will Germany cope with demographic change, declining workforce? We already see this in the structure of the economy and the labor market, with health and care expanding and manufacturing declining.
How much do you worry about the labor market? So there's a concern that then Germany is on the brink of big layoffs, and that this could come soon quite quickly, leading to a kind of spiral.
There are concerns about employment in manufacturing. That has been declining for some time, and now increasingly large companies are announcing layoff. At the same time, the labor market is stabilized by the public sector, because we've seen a public sector build up for a long time, that the public sector is expanding. And here it is the health sector and the care sector where more and more people are employed as a result of an aging population that needs more health care. So the overall labor market is stabilized by the fact that demographic change reduces the size of the workforce. The trouble is wages are stagnating or declining because the structural change towards the service industry is associated with lower productivity.
What can you tell us about what you would put as priority in the snap election? So what can the next government do to make things a little bit better? What would you do as priorities if you were in charge?
I think the next government needs to prioritize economic growth, and within that, it needs to prioritize labor supply, investment, and innovation, these three areas. So create better conditions for labor supply. We see work hours declining in Germany, and that's because of problems in the tax and transfer system, because of a lack of childcare. We see investors fleeing because Germany has the highest corporate tax rate in the G7. It has too much bureaucratic burden. It has problematic regulations. The government needs to address that. And then we need to revitalize innovation, do more for the creation of new companies, because automotive and energy-intensive industries are declining. We urgently need new ideas and new companies. And there are opportunities. There are new companies, but they face difficulties growing due to a lack of capital for new companies. So we need to change these things. And if we do that, Germany can grow again.
How important? Mr. Fuest, how important is it to get rid of, the debt brake or to change it? We know that this current chancellor was saying, look, we need to do something to spend in terms of infrastructure and defense. So will growth only come with extra government spending first?
I think the debt brake is, in a way, a scapegoat, but not the cause of our difficulties. The public sector deficit is 2%, so there are many ways of getting around the debt brake, and that has been utilized. It's not like the government is not running deficits. I think what we need to do first is come up with a meaningful growth agenda, and then we can discuss how we finance it. There are enough possibilities to get into financing through public companies increase, so the debt brake isn't really our problem.
The Bundesbank, I think, says that because of the Trump tariffs, economic output will be hit between 1.3 and 1.4%. Does that seem reasonable in terms of estimates to you?
I think it's maybe a bit early to say that, because whether Trump will really come up with these tariffs is unclear. And we maybe tend to forget that Trump also wants to increase the deficit in the U.S., get rid of bureaucracy, cut taxes, and that may increase imports to the U.S. And compensate for the tariffs maybe. So I think what Trump does create is a lot of uncertainty, but how that will play out is unclear.